Some say it's permissible to eat gelatin that is derived from pork through a process called istihala. And what about food, certain small amount of alcohol? Can you please explain? Tayyib. Our Shaykh Muhammad Umar Bazmool has mentioned that gelatin is the result, it's a powder substance. It is originally, before it became gelatin, it was a pork product. Right? However, istihala has taken place, meaning it has now gone through a change in its very structure. You know that dung, to keep things easy, animal dung, animal feces, is used as what on a farm? Fertilizer, right? Are you allowed to eat animal dung? But did you know that animal dung is used to fertilize the soil, and from that soil come potatoes and vegetables and, food that you eat? But it doesn't come as dung and feces. It is changed from its original state, right? When something changes into something else, it no longer holds the ruling of what it used to be. That's what's essential to understand. Istihala is inside of this creation. This earth is a receptacle for dead bodies. From these dead bodies, they become decomposed, they become part of the ground, other things happen. So when you take a handful of earth, a handful of soil, this soil was so many different things before it is the ground material that is in your hand. You only judge it by what it is now at this point, not what it used to be before these transformations. You understand that? So a study of what gelatin is could lead you to understand that it is no longer the substance it used to be of a pork byproduct. However, it has been changed into a new substance, and it is no longer resembling in its shape, in its structure, or anything, the old thing that it used to be. Having said that, I alert you to, or remind you of the impermissibility of the Muslim factory producing gelatin. Why is that? Because you would be required to buy pork and interact with pork to make it go through that process to become gelatin. However, if someone else has done that, then the gelatin remains. Then the verdict of our Shaykh Muhammad Umar Bazmool is that it is no longer to be understood as the pork product, but it is rather a new substance with a new ruling, and Allah knows best. What about alcohol? Small amounts of alcohol. Let's not talk about small amounts or large amounts yet. The word alcohol is of 3 types. Let's try to understand it easily. It's not the case that the word alcohol means khamr. That's only one of the types of alcohol. There is a natural alcohol that is found in fruits, in bread, in many food products that you eat every day. If you would break it down and separate it, it is a kind of alcohol. However, we don't say now that an apple is a khamr, that an apple is an intoxicant. If you were to take all of that alcohol as a substance from the apple and put it together, you may be able to produce an intoxicant. However, the apple is not an intoxicant. You judge the apple as an apple. If you eat that apple and become intoxicated, then that apple was fermented and it is an intoxicant. If you eat many, many, many apples and do not become intoxicated, then the apples are not intoxicants. The same thing for any drink. If you were to drink a lot of that fluid and not become intoxicated, it doesn't matter that there's something called alcohol in it. It is not a khamr until it yukhamir, al-aql, until it affects the intellect. So the substance called alcohol in it is not enough to intoxicate, so it is not an intoxicant. Right? That's the first category of things with alcohol in them. They are things that no matter how much you eat or drink, they will never intoxicate you. These are halal to buy and sell, halal to eat and consume, halal to trade and transport, and so on. There's a second kind of alcohol, and that is the kind of alcohol that if you were to take it in any amount, then you would become sick or you would die. These are poisonous alcohols. They are heavy doses of alcohol in a substance. This is not a khamr. This is a poison. It has the ruling of poison, which is different from the ruling of khamr. in an important way. A poison can be bought and sold and transported and used for beneficial purposes. You could buy poison, rat poison. You can buy poison which is bug spray. It's poison, right? That's permissible for you to use in a way that's beneficial. So this kind of alcohol is, in general, even if you wanted to consume it, for some reason, it would only poison you and it would not intoxicate you. So it is not an intoxicant, it's not a khamr, but it is poison, and it takes the ruling of poison. Impermissible to ingest, to consume, to eat or drink, but permissible to trade and deal with, not like alcohol. Now we'll get to the third one, which is not like khamr. The third one is the alcohol in beer, wine, or any intoxicating substance. That when you drink a little or a lot of that substance, you become intoxicated. That is the intoxicant, right? That can be in your traditional, that is in your traditional alcoholic beverages. And that is in anything like weed, cocaine, the various drugs that the people use that affect the mind. Those are all khamr, right? And any old food, some old fruit juice that got left out maybe for a few days, doesn't matter that you bought it as fruit juice. The ruling is not based on what it used to be. The ruling is based on what it is now. So you have istihala there, even another example of istihala. That this was perfectly halal fruit juice, and now it is absolutely impermissible khamr. How did it change? It changed its structure. It changed in its very makeup and what it is. It went through a fermentation and became a new substance with a new ruling. So that perfectly halal grape and the grape juice from it became something absolutely haram because it changed its condition. It changed into a new substance. That shows that every Muslim accepts the concept of istihala, something known as a substance being changed into another substance through a process. So alcohol then is of three types. So if the alcohol that you're asking about is just the word alcohol in a long list of ingredients in a product, like a cake or something, then if you eat this cake and become intoxicated, then that cake is a khamr. We don't judge it by the ingredients in it, we judge it by the food that it is. If you eat a lot of that cake, then it is a khamr, and it intoxicates you, then it is a khamr, and a little piece of that cake would then be haram. Right? Because what intoxicates in large amounts, then the small amounts are haram. It doesn't mean that we could extract the alcoholic content of the cake and see if it makes us intoxicated, because as mentioned, that is not the requirement for judging if something is an intoxicant or not, a khamr or not. It's that this by itself, if it intoxicates you, then it is a khamr. If it does not intoxicate you, then quite simply, no matter what the names of the ingredients are, the chemical compounds or whatever, then it is not to be ruled on that it is a khamr. And Allah Ta'ala knows best. Do you have a follow-up question? What about? The same ruling. The question is about medication with alcohol. Some people might say, what about vanilla extract? What about this and that with alcohol as an ingredient? Everything that you're going to ask me about applies to those three categories. You can bring it back to one of those three categories. If the medicine that you take, and there are some medicines, I think like NyQuil, or these heavy medications, they tell you don't drive if you take this medication, right? There are medications like morphine, and these heavy medications that intoxicate you. And it's not okay for us to say, well, it's not an alcohol, it's medicine. That medicine can also be judged as an intoxicant if it affects your intellect, if it does away with your ability to react and to think and takes away your intellect. The scholars say, al-khamru ma yukhamiru al-aql. Khamr is what covers up the intellect and makes you unable to access your faculties and use your intellect. So the medicine, whatever medicine you're worried about, if it intoxicates, and usually one way we know that is by the cautionary notices on the medicine. If it says caution, do not drive after drinking this, or do not operate heavy machinery, then usually we're going to consider that to be a khamr. Right? Because why is that notice there? Because your intellect is impaired and you may make a mistake using machinery or driving a car, and that's why the warning is there. So it's like an indication to us that this is a khamr. However, if there's some aspirin, if there's something that is said to like sharpen your intellect, like caffeine or something, it affects your intellect, but it's not a khamr, it's not an intoxicant. As it's known, various foods and drinks have an effect on your mind, and they change the state of your mind. There are happy foods, and there are mood foods, there are comfort foods that the people say, this recipe is a comforting food. There are foods that affect our emotional states, but they don't cover our abilities to use our faculties and so on. So they're just mood foods which are permissible, meaning things that, either make us a little bit more sharper or something, and that's a benefit and it's not a harm. And Allah Ta'ala knows best. Yeah, Habibi. What's it called? Shani Karab? Shani Karab. His friend told him he drank 10 of them, and then he got number 11. Yeah. Your brother. Oh, a brother. Okay. Abu Mujahid is saying, whoa, sorry. A brother told him. And then number 11, what happened? Okay, so he saw there was 2% alcohol. Okay, so what happened? Did he become intoxicated or not? Yeah, he's saying here that this person drank something with 2% alcohol and it never made him intoxicated. If that's the case, it doesn't matter what the percentage of alcohol is. If it never intoxicated him, drinking like 10 or 11 of them, then it's not an intoxicant. It doesn't matter what the ingredient says. There is, I believe beer is 6% alcohol. Is that right? Does anyone know the alcohol content of different drinks? I think I remember beer being 6%. Some of the kids, they study these things. Huh? It varies. Okay. Of course, whiskey, they call that high proof. Very high content of alcohol. The kind of alcohol that those non-Muslims, they drink and they slam it down because it's so horrible. It's such a high content, it's probably very close to the poison, that it's so intoxicating very fast. Yes, sir? Beer up? Beer rum.
Yes, usually used as a medication like a rum and stuff like that. Some people actually drink it.
Some people drink it, yeah. If it intoxicates, every question is going to go about every individual thing. If it intoxicates in a large amount, then a small amount of it is haram. So if they drink it, right? If it is an intoxicant, then it's not permissible to buy it to use to rub on your body. If it's a khamr, it's not permissible to buy, sell, transport, consume, or have anything to do with the product which is a khamr. So nobody can say, I'll take this khamr, but I'm not consuming it, I'm rubbing it. That's not allowed. Because you're not allowed to buy it. No. And Allah knows best. No.